Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy, looking to be the majority leader and the Speaker of the House at some point. In usual fashion, he's avoiding the condemnation of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Paul Gosar, as they spoke and attended this white nationalist conference over the weekend that was headed by Nick Fuentes. So when asked about it at his press conference, there wasn't much of an answer. Let's watch.
Please respond to Marjorie Taylor Greene attending the white nationalist conference over the weekend.
You know what? I commented on that on yesterday. I understand your job. I understand what you're trying to do. I've already commented on that. We've got a war in Europe that we have not had since World War II. We've got people in a village and others, and you can take my statement that I said yesterday and play it one more time. Yes.
Doesn't want to say anything again because what he would say just wouldn't work out. If he actually condemns what they were doing, he'll anger Donald Trump. If he says they're all great, then we'll know what he really believes, that he's all for it as long as he has some kind of access to power. So let's get to what Kevin McCarthy has done so far. I'm sorry, wait a second, there's more from this, I'm sorry. So after this, there was pushback from Jim McGovern, Democrat Jim McGovern from Massachusetts. And he condemned McCarthy for the way he's been approaching these things and hoping that he would maybe do something or say something. Watch.
Come from Russia, American money is going to Putin. Let's stop that and stop that today. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the world is watching, and I'm not going to be lectured by someone who takes their marching orders from Donald Trump, who said that Putin's invasion of Ukraine was a genius and savvy move. I wish the gentleman would have condemned that. And listening to that speech, you would think that Joe Biden invaded Ukraine. I mean, he spent all this time criticizing Joe Biden, John Kerry, and everybody else, but hardly criticized Vladimir Putin. Look, I also wish, because I think it would be helpful for this country and a signal to the world, if the gentleman who just spoke would reprimand members of his own party who cozy up to white nationalists and go to pro-Putin rallies. That would send a signal to people in this country and to people around the world on whose side we're on.
I'm glad someone is saying it. I mean, a few others are saying it, but it's pointing out that he has a role here. Kevin McCarthy has a role in play in what his members are doing, where they're going, and what they're representing, and what they're giving some legitimacy to. So what has he been doing so far? Let's look at this, Kevin McCarthy some more. Monday night, McCarthy told CNN's Melanie Zanona that it was appalling and wrong for Greene and Gosar to speak at an event founded by the far-right activist Nick Fuentes. McCarthy also added, "There's no place in our party for any of this. This is unacceptable." Good words. I think that's the stuff that he wanted that particular reporter at the press conference to refer back to because it sounded so good, but he just can't say it again. So McCarthy also said that he plans to have a discussion with both Greene and Gosar about the matter in the coming days. So far, he's only exchanged text messages with Marjorie Taylor Greene. "This is unacceptable," is what he added. That's it. Now, by the way, when we've talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene and also Gosar lost some committee assignments because of their rhetoric and their actions running around playing games in Congress. So before we let you jump in here, Adrian, because I want to get this whole thing out here. So when asked about whether or not he's gonna do something about their committee assignments that they were stripped of for their craziness, is what he had to say last year.
With regards to Republicans who have been stripped of their committee assignments by this majority, do you plan to give Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar their committee assignments back if you take the majority?
They'll have committees. The committee assignment they have now, they may have other committee assignments. They may have better committee assignments. I think with Gosar, those are the ones he wants. Taylor Greene, she was just a freshman. I know she's requested others. She has a right to serve on committees.
They might get better committee assignments. Who knows? I mean, I'm all on board. Who cares? I mean, they're there, they're here. I'm all for them. Back and forth. I don't know if this is gonna work out for him because we know that his only ambition is to be Speaker of the House. They assume that they're gonna win, and after that, he's gonna be, as Adam Kinzinger pointed out, Adrian, he now has to bow down to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's just an extension of Trump.
You know, when we talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, committee assignments, no, they don't need more work. They don't need more opportunities. They need pay reductions, especially if we can't get them out of Congress. At least you can pay them less for the work that they are not doing. But also McCarthy had an opportunity to double down, to say something, to really draw the line, to make clear that attending these white supremacist rallies and using your voice as a member of Congress in this regard is completely and totally unacceptable. And instead, he decided to go ahead and punt to the thought of, you can play what I said before, I'm not going to answer this. He used as much air and words to essentially say nothing when he could have said something again, and to make it affirmed and clear. And it really just shows you again that he is here to pander to whoever's going to keep him in a position of power. And as you're right, he's not going to go against Trump or any of his minions, a la Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert.
Yeah, well, similar to Tom Cotton, they have a lot to say whenever it's in opposition to some of their colleagues across the aisle. They have a lot to say, but Tom Cotton just the other day was like, I'm not gonna speak for other politicians. No, we want you to speak for you about what other politicians who you are right next to are up to, and whether or not you agree with it. Bottom line, straight up. Look, earlier we talked about Cori Bush pushed back on the president in his State of the Union speech last night. She's within his party. She's able to say, you know, with all due respect, you're wrong, President Biden. It's not that hard. Yeah, she'll get attacked for it by many corners of the political world, but that's her belief system. Do you believe it or not?
Yep, and also they don't want to lose any of their fan base. You know, as Trump had said, there are fine people on both sides. This mentality still exists, and there are a number of people now who their inner white supremacist is coming out, and they do not want to essentially be called out for the fact that it's unacceptable. I think they're enjoying this moment, the fact that Trump has made it cool to be a white supremacist again.
It's easy credit points, I guess, for voters that you don't have to do anything except say, I support your racism.
Yep.
And they go, you have my vote. You don't have to do anything. Easy politics.